You're welcome back to News Track, coming to you live from Abuja. The federal government has signed a $1.1 billion contract with the Brazilian government to enhance mechanized agriculture in the country. According to the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, it will create 5 million jobs for the youth. Professor Osinbajo, who is speaking at the launch of the Green Imperative project in Abuja, says the implementation of the project will ensure food security driven by the private sector. Our correspondent Gloria Umezuki reports.
Nigeria and Brazilian officials converge on the State House to effect a new agricultural revolution. The Green Imperative is a bilateral development program designed to transform Nigeria's economic landscape.
10,000 tractors and 50,000 machines and equipments. The fundamental difference in this deal is that these tractors, machines, and equipments will be assembled here. More than 700 service centers will also be created to assist the smallholder farmers.
The government hopes to import ideas from Brazil, which is currently about 9 times the size of Nigeria.
Machines will be available under this scheme. Those of you who benefit from them, utilize them well. There will be spare parts, produce, market, repay the loans under which this scheme is going to be put together.
The projects we are launching today will be implemented with a total loan package of $1.1 billion, largely from the Brazilian government, which will be disbursed in 4 tranches over a period of 2 years.
When the workings of the partnership is concluded, the nation's agriculture sector will stand to gain these number of machines. Nigeria must produce what she eats now more than ever, according to the Vice President.
Of course, the major dividend of all of this are the hundreds of thousands of quality jobs that young men and women will be able to access. But also crucial is the fact that the private sector is an important component of this particular enterprise.
The anticipation is high, and the federal government is hoping that the Green Imperative project will help diversify and reposition the nation's economy in a sustainable way. From the presidential villa, Gloria Umezuki, Channels Television News.
And that's all from Abuja. Back to you, Ijoma.
Thanks a lot, Linda. The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has arrived in Washington, D.C. on a visit to the United States. Alhaji Abubakar departed from Abuja from the United States today, accompanied by the DG of the PDP Presidential Campaign Organization, Senate President Dr. Bukola Saraki. The PDP presidential candidate arrived at 20 minutes past 8 Nigerian time, or 14:20 hours Washington, D.C. time. A statement by the spokesperson to the PDP flag bearer, Paul Ibe, says he will be meeting with U.S. government officials, the business community, and the Nigerian community as well. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar also confirmed his arrival in the United States in a tweet. And for the second time, the Deputy Speaker of the Ekiti State House of Assembly, Segun Adeomi, has been impeached by the House. The lawmakers removed Mr. Adeomi on the grounds of alleged gross misconduct. He was first impeached in May last year, also for alleged gross misconduct, and only returned after his successor was impeached, along with the former Speaker in October 2018. Mr. Olamiposi Omodara replaces the impeached Adeomi as Deputy Speaker of the House. Well, the leadership style of the Enugu State Governor, Mr. Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, has caught the attention of one of his predecessors, Mr. Chimaroke Nnamani, who paid him a courtesy call 12 years after leaving office. The visit afforded the former governor the opportunity to appreciate the governor for all that he's done. He pledged his support and that of his people in Kano West towards the success of the People's Democratic Party in the state. Our correspondent in Kiruka Ajogu reports.
12 years after he left office,
Chimaroke Nnamani returns to the government house in his dancing shoes, accompanied by this crowd from the Enugu East Senatorial Zone. His presence here speaks volumes. Firstly, it's an uncommon alliance between a sitting governor and one of his predecessors. Secondly, the former governor did not mince words over the way the current governor is running the affairs of the state through inclusive governance, irrespective of party affiliations. For the leadership of the People's Democratic Party and other stakeholders in the state, this epoch-making event will not only translate to a peaceful conduct ahead of the elections, but will ensure victory for the party at the polls.
On 16th of February, we are going to show you that we are fair, we are resolute, we are prepared.
Responding, the governor takes the microphone, preaching peace and praising God.
In all we do in Enugu State, we give God due glory, honor, and adoration. Oh Lord, we are very, very
Honorable Ifeanyi has been preaching peace, unity in the state, and he has shown it today.
There's nobody currently in government today who has not passed through Chimaroke Nnamani. So as you can see, the man is loved. He's a real game changer.
Both men are candidates for the PDP in the upcoming elections. While the governor is seeking re-election, Senator Nnamani is also hoping to return to the Senate after 8 years. The two men are counting on this renewed synergy between their supporters to actualize their dreams. Nkiruka Ajogu, Channels Television News.
And to some disturbing news on the campaign trail, armed bandits have attacked the entourage of the All Progressives Congress governorship candidate in Taraba State, Sani Danladi. The gunmen reportedly opened fire on Mr. Danladi's convoy in Wukari local government area. According to him, the APC candidate was heading to Ibi local government area when he was attacked in Wukari local government area along the only route linking the two locations. In a telephone interview with our correspondent, the spokesman of the APC in the state, Mr. Aaron Armitas, also says that an unconfirmed number of vehicles were burnt in the attack. Meanwhile, the state governor, Darius Ishaku, has imposed a dusk-to-dawn curfew in Wukari beginning from today, January the 17th, until further notice. In a statement, the state government explains that the curfew is from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and is aimed at preventing a further breakdown of law and order. Governor Ishaku, however, urges the people to be law-abiding and to cooperate with the law enforcement agencies to forestall further security breaches. And in another incident of violence, gunmen suspected to be political opponents of the Allied People's Movement have attacked the party's campaign trail in the Ikenne local government area of Ogun State. The APM governorship candidate Adekunle Akinlade and his team had continued their ward-to-ward campaign when gunshots were fired at a location near the ward they were visiting. That created the police to intervene and bring the situation, which caused tension and panic among party supporters and passers-by, under control. Members of the ward had already scampered to safety before the candidate addressed the few people left at the venue, promising to make a return there.
We will not entertain violence, we will not engage in violence. The era of violence is gone. Those who have nothing to offer are those who are trying to create crisis. They will not succeed. Our people are wiser today. Our people will vote for APM. We will, by God's grace, myself and my deputy will be sworn in as the next executive governor, and deputy governor will be sworn on May 29. They know that we have moved beyond that. They are frustrated, but we have not started. We will do our word to word to the last word. The truth and the scientific words of the state we will visit by God's grace.
And from the campaign trails, let's take a look at some business news now. Here's Anne Wilder.
You first. First Bank. Thank you, Ijoma. Let's begin business news tonight with the central bank reaffirming its commitment to increase the number of Nigerians who have access to financial services. At the meeting in Abuja, the Deputy Governor of the Central Bank in charge of financial system stability, Mrs. Aisha Ahmed, explains that the Apex Bank is adopting new strategies which include sensitization and grassroots engagement to raise the bar in attaining its vision of 80% financial inclusion by the year 2020.
Officials of the central bank, senior executives of commercial banks and finance experts at a meeting targeted at increasing the level of financial inclusion in the country.
Physical access.
Data by the Enhancing Financial Innovation and Access indicates that 36.6 million eligible Nigerian adults do not have access to financial services.
We are promoting some new initiatives that will positively drive financial inclusion. I'm glad that the Director of Financial Policy and Regulation is here. Late last year, we came out with some guidelines for licensing and operation of payment service banks. We think that this model will expand the number of stakeholders that are going to provide financial services. It will help us leverage technology in a more focused way to promote our objectives and ensure that all the unbanked, underbanked people, both in urban and rural areas, get access.
There were words of support from the German Development Corporation for the realization of financial inclusion.
To date, we have implemented and supported financial literacy trainings for more than 50,000 people, among others in cooperation with the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, the NYSC Volunteer Corps, and of course the CBN.
A performance by students for the advancement of global entrepreneurship sums up the agenda for the day.
According to the World Bank, as of 2018, over 60 million Nigerians are not yet financially inclusive. This challenge can be traced to poor banking penetration, inadequate financial inclusion, especially in the face of changing technology and media.
And after the speeches, the Deputy Governor of the Central Bank unveiled the bank's revised financial inclusion strategy.
Financial literacy.
Hopefully, this will help in the attainment of 80% financial inclusion by 2020.
The House of Representatives today passed the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2018 through the Committee of the Whole. The new CAMA bill, described as the boldest reform attempt in Nigeria's corporate environment, replaces the act which was promulgated in 1990 and lasted for more than 30 years. All 871 clauses, 15 schedules and explanatory memorandum were all adopted by the lawmakers after it was presented by the House Leader, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, for consideration. The Deputy Speaker of the House, Honorable Yusuf Lasnu, has described the bill as the most important bill in the country as regards to ease of doing business. Trading at the Nigerian Stock Exchange has closed with upbeat performance from the fourth day in a row as investors are still extending bargain hunting for Dangote Cement and Diamond Bank. Let's join Eddie Diong Iwang for more.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Now, Dangote Cement continues to drive positive sentiment at the equities markets for the fourth consecutive session. This led to a 0.40% increase in the all-share index and total value of equities. The 2 naira increase in the cement giant share price also contributed to the 2.04% rise in the industrial goods sector. It's also a similar picture on the activity chart where Diamond Bank maintains its dominance ahead of Guarantee Trust and Zenith Bank. However, total volume of shares traded in Thursday's session was lower by 74.79 million units compared with Wednesday's session at 231 billion in over 3,200 deals. And that's the Stock Market Report. I'm Edidiong Iwang. Back to you, Anne.
Thank you, Edidiong. U.S. stock markets have ended Thursday's session higher following the United Nations consideration of easing tariffs on U.S. and Chinese goods after negotiations between the world's largest economies. But it's negative close across the board for Asian and European markets. Let's see how they ended today. With those numbers, we end business news for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Nwaudu. It's back to you, Ijoma.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Anne. Still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria Super Falcons lose their opening game against China in the Wuhu 4-Nation tournament. And that's on sports. Please stay with us.